Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Gaming Industry's Evolution, Shaping Society, Education, and Culture. This is Nuran Mansour, Media and Communications Officer at the Islamic Chamber of Commerce, ICCIA, and today's moderator. The Islamic Chamber is an international organization affiliated to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. It represents the private sector in 57 Muslim member countries. Once again, we are gathered here under the umbrella of the virtual platform ICCIA Leadership Talks, striving to explore various mechanisms and future prospects of creating a prosperous and sustainable economic life across all our member countries. ICCIA Leadership Talks provides a shared space for open dialogue for the private sector of the Islamic world and the world at large on ongoing shifting trends, arising opportunities, and challenges. So let's begin with an introduction of our prominent speakers who are joining us today. Please welcome with me Mr. Ralph Bijani, Managing Director at Istaz Esports.
Welcome, everyone.
Mr. Ralph, welcome.
Welcome.
Mr. Kamal Aita, Founder of Game Hermits.
Hi, everyone. Good morning,
Hello.
good evening.
Hello. Mr. Hamza Azad, Founder and CEO at Meow Games. Hello.
Hi to everyone. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Mr. Mahrouz Khan, Game Developer at Avriok Technologies. Hello, Mr. Mahrouz.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hello. So welcome our panelists. We are so glad to have you here today with us. First, I will introduce you and then we'll go to discuss our webinar. Mr. Ralph Bijani, Managing Director at Istaz Esports, with a lifelong drive to bring his own ideas and vision to reality through video production, he embraced his casual interest in video games. After a tacit understanding of the scales of which the industry would expand. The industry would expand to in the near future. Over the past half-decade, he has brought his expertise to the budding field of regional esports and has set his sights on raising the bar of game media production and content creation, involving multiple aspects of the region's most favored pastime to guarantee the flashy reception the audience has come to expect. Mr. Kamal Aita, founder of Game Hermits, he founded Game Hermits in college back in 2015, and it became a professional business in 2020. It's an outsourcing studio for individual game designers, game publishers, and software houses, and started out as a game programmer, then shifted to become a project manager, and now he is the CEO and General Director of Games in Game Hermits. Mr. Hamza Azad, Founder and CEO at Meow Games. He is Founder and CEO at Meow Games Company in Turkey, Founder and CEO at Young Game Developers Company in Iran, Regional Organizer at Global Game Jam, President of Indie Game Developers Festival, President of Global Student Game Developer Competition, developer and publisher of more than 50 games. Mr. Mahrouz Khan, game developer at Avriok Technologies, graduated from computer system engineering and working as Unreal gameplay programmer in Avriok Technologies in Abu Dhabi. He has 7 years of experience in gaming industry. Previously, he was working on Unity developer in Pakistan. Welcome our panelists and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
at this time, I would like to remind all our participants that if you have any questions, please share this in the chat box. So now we'll start our question. First question for Mr. Ralph. How do you think that games can enhance the education sector and learning methodologies?
Wow. So, in a simple, in a nutshell, you see how Roblox or Minecraft, for example, are teaching young kids how to be able to calculate simple math equations, how much should be a house, for example, building a house. If you want it to be as big as you need, for example, you have to take care of the longitude, the latitude, everything around it. So it's simple directions that leads actually from logical thinking to actually developing these skills. During our time, it used to be like, hey, memorize the table of multiplication, for example. Now a simple game can teach you that without even thinking about it. So it is something very revolutionary and it helps a lot.
Yeah, sure. Perfect. And Mr. Kamal, what do you think about this?
I think there are multiple opportunities to look at. For example, we have applications like Lingo Kids, for example. It provides mini games and animations for kids to learn all sort of things. It's always better to transform the old cartoons that we used to watch to learn new things into actual interactive experiences. There's
Yeah.
also the AR technology, the augmented reality technology, or mixed reality technologies in general. I've seen multiple entities here in Egypt, housing like schools for kids, are using like augmented reality kits to teach young children with cards. Like you scan it with a mobile camera, becomes an elephant or becomes something else. So all of this is really opening up a lot of opportunities to expand on the educational sector using gaming technologies.
So, Mr. Hamza, could you please elaborate more about this?
Yes, just playing game is very good for education, and people with playing games can learn English, math, physics, and other. We have categories in game industry, educational game that learn people any educational subjects. But with playing games, people with entertainment learn many subjects, and this is very enjoyable for people that playing these games. And in the future, we will have many games that learn people to have a better life and have activities in the metaverse and Second Life and other subjects.
Yes, hopefully. Mr. Mahrouz, would you please elaborate on this?
Yes, actually, if we will look into our past 20 years, the main entertainment was a film industry. And now the gaming has become so much huge, like everyone wants to, in their spare time and in the idle time, they want to play the games because they are thinking that rather than watching a movie, they will gonna have a lot more experience, good experience in the mobile gaming. They will have a relax of mind as well, and my memory will gonna be very sharp. And because they will know, obviously in every game we have complex logics as well for the mind challenges as well. And due to the reason the player used to enjoy the game, and apart from that, we are I guess all the companies are having a very interest related to the child related games, because the child is a very fundamental thing that used to play the games, and they are liking it a lot, because everyone, the parents, consider if they are playing the game they will learn something from the game, and due to the reason their mental compatibility will be very high. So gaming is a very important part in our life.
Sure. And what do you think, Mr. Mahrouz, about how do you see the role of gaming industry in promoting culture?
Yeah, obviously the gaming culture, the gaming industry is having a very huge impact in promoting our culture as well, because the game that we are modifying, the we just presenting the world and all the stuff, they are just having a very good impact in our culture.
Sure. And Mr. Kamal, what do you think about this?
Well, in the recent couple of years, I've seen a lot of game studios in MENA and Africa promoting their games. They're actually fun games with a bit of culture in them. So, for example, I've seen a studio called Geomex in Saudi Arabia. They make like driving games, but they modify it to be Saudi driving games. I've seen studios here in Egypt, also Game Hermits. We developed a game called Askar and Haramea. We used to play when we were old, but now we've modified it to become international, but with a bit of culture in them. I've seen African game studios working on games like Osawa Games. They promote their own cultures in Nigeria, in South Africa. So it's a big part, and we see this all the time from the Western countries. They promote their cultures to us through media and especially through games. Recently, Ubisoft, for example, have developed a game called Assassin's Creed Mirage, which takes place in Baghdad, and you get to experience the culture of Baghdad. So it was a very cool move, but I think we are somehow responsible for making games on our culture than others make games on our culture.
Sure. Thank you. Mr. Hamza, please add your contribution about this. Yes. Could you please unmute yourself?
Okay. Game is the global language in all countries in the world, because kids, young people, or all people can play these games and see all culture, art, and history, and all of these games they can see, and we can design good games for show our cultures to all people in the world, and this is very good for all people to see the culture of Egypt, culture of Iraq, culture of Iran, culture of USA, and other countries. And we can create good arts for our histories and cultures that we can see this culture now, and we can redesign that for show all people to see and know about, and this is very good and very enjoyable for all people.
Yeah, sure. Mr. Ralph.
Look, it's super simple. We all know what a samurai is, and I'm sure maybe 20% of us didn't even step foot in Japan. All because of movies first and then games now. We know how to wield the sword, we know what a katana is. All this is because of games mainly, especially. We know what the Indians and rednecks attack each other. That's super cool. We know how they work, we know how they think, all because of games. As simple as that.
Mhm. Yes. And for you also, Mr. Ralph, what do you think about the best age or the age who is benefit the most from these games? Which age?
So define these games, because you have games for 2 years old.
Mhm.
Early learning centers, this is what they do. There are games that show you black and white cards for newborns to be able to concentrate more on this. So it could be put on a screen. If you are a parent that doesn't mind having your son subject to a screen early on, then you're good. So
Yes.
at early age, I don't mind, for example, for myself to be from 6 months.
Mhm. Okay. Do you all agree about this?
Not the 6 months. Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more, but why? Let's have some discussion, guys, since we're
Yeah,
only answering questions here.
let's
Why?
let's
Tell
have
me
some
why
discussion.
personally.
Just just
Actually, for example, if the if the child is very newborn baby or just 6 months old, then there will be a eyesight issue as well for the health issue if he still looking at the screen. Apart from that, it's very good for him to
I'm
learn
uh,
the new thing
I'm
as
very
soon
I'm
as
very
possible.
curious about one thing. Excuse my French.
Yes, yes.
Are you sure about the eyesight? Have you
Yeah.
consulted the doctor about that?
Yeah,
No, but seriously, no, it's not
because
the
I
case
do have
at all.
I am having a glasses. That's why he told me
I
mute
know.
the
You're having
screen.
glasses because of something else, my friend, but not because at 6 months your parents put you in front of a screen. The screen should not, it doesn't
Yeah,
have to be bright. It
actually,
doesn't have to have blue
at
lights.
my age, gaming was not there
Yeah,
when I
but you
was
get
six
my
months old.
point. So if a
Yeah.
doctor says it's fine, a doctor says it's fine. I'm no doctor, but I already asked him because I have a 1-month-old son and I wanted to know at what time I can start teaching him game and esports.
that's
So
good.
yeah,
Actually,
That's
it's
good.
no,
known.
no.
It's known for a
The,
fact
the
it's
thing is,
13 years, but here
no,
you go.
the thing is, it depends. The doctor used to say, for example, if a child is using a mobile or games for around one or 2 hours in a day, it's perfectly fine. But if he is getting addicted to it, like he is using continuously, then it will be a bad.
Yeah,
Then it
yeah.
will
I'm
have
not.
a health conscious.
I totally get it. We're not talking about addiction here or anything. We're
Yes,
just talking
exactly. Apart
when
from
is
that,
the
if it
sun?
is if the child is using the mobile phone for 1 hour to teach himself
For
related to the
10
game,
minutes.
it's
For 10
completely fine.
minutes is fine. Yeah. And 10 minutes is
Yes,
also fine.
yeah,
So they can
exactly.
start from when they were very young. That's my answer
Yeah.
to that, because everyone will be like, oh, 13 years is the legal age for this. But
No, no, actually, we are not
No,
here
no.
to bound. We are not here to bound a child because he will gonna desperately looking why they are stopping us. Actually, we are not here to bound the child, but obviously he has to be mature enough to like due to the new technologies and due to the new games as well. So if we will stop him like continuously, don't use, then he will be like I know he will be like amazing himself. What is inside the mobile? Why they are hiding? So then it will be
Exactly.
very good
I
if
think
you.
I think that there's no age for gaming. It's just the content for gaming is very huge right now. For example, if you give a child a mobile phone and you give him Play Store, he can play all sorts of games. So I think as long as it's um uh, uh,
supervised.
yes, supervised and carefully thought from the parents. It helps if the parent is a gamer like me and all of you. It helps if the parent owns a game company. Now I'm actually developing games for kids now. So yeah, but 6 months old, I think I'd
I
want my
pushed it.
kids.
Excuse
Yeah.
me, excuse me, guys. I had to push it to be able to have a webinar and not just,
Yeah, I just
answer
want
questions.
them.
We
I
needed
just want
this.
them. Yeah, I just want them to like be more curious about the parents more than anything else. I think that's my
Actually,
stand on that.
the
Yeah.
child in today's age, the child is very proactive. Even my daughter, she is 2 years old. She used to play the game. She used to download it by herself, and she used to be okay. I am liking this game. Okay, I'm not liking this game. They're like, there is a she's having her own likes and dislikes and all the stuff. The child are very proactive in gaming
How old is
today.
Sorry,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
old is she?
2 years, 2 years.
Perfect.
Yes,
This generation is amazing, I think.
exactly.
Yes. Mr. Hamza, do you like to add anything about this?
Yes, we don't have any age for using games, and in future we have metaverse and others that they are very different for playing, and
Mm.
we don't have any limitation.
Yes.
And for a standard age, we don't must give the babies for 6 months to give mobile to them, but new gen is very smart and want mobile and games.
Yes, that's right.
So thank God you don't have to your old gen, my friend Hamza. So that's why you're not gonna give your 6 months old. That's for sure.
He took one for the team, Ralph. Thank you.
No.
For
Yeah.
health.
Sorry.
For
This is
for
this is
babies'
my own
health.
person. Yeah, for babies' health. Again, you're not a doctor as well. I'm 1000% sure. Ask a doctor, and I can assure you he might say yes, with moderation. That's my answer for this. And another thing that you just said,
Surely, obviously.
one sec.
Yes.
I need to continue this because he said also in the future the metaverse. How sure are you if there will be a metaverse in the future? Maybe it's going to be called something else. Metaverse is something that Meta is creating for now. It doesn't work at all, as we can see.
Yeah.
No, metaverse will be work
Exactly.
20 years later or
What
older.
is metaverse for you, if you don't mind? What is metaverse? Just to sit with goggles on the inside our eyes?
like to Second Life, and you can do anything in the metaverse platform, and working, entertainment, buying, and other activities.
I think this
So
was
like
done
Fortnite, for
already in
example.
no, this was done
Yes,
already
we are
in
not
in VR chat. VR chat is
No,
almost 10 years
in a
old.
very simple thing, like Fortnite.
Yeah.
You go in, you
But
play, you talk to your
Yes.
friends, you buy stuff, and then you
they
go out. That's the metaverse.
Exactly.
I think the metaverse they refer to having digital footprint in another universe, like buying land in a universe, establishing malls in digital or virtual reality. But
Buying one
for
and
me, I
zeros,
think
my friend, not land. It's
yeah,
one and
by me,
zeros.
Yes.
for me,
Yes.
I think the metaverse will be more of tools to enhance working. For example, I've seen mixed reality tools that are very, very productive. You get to see more screens instead of buying more hardware. But it's still an emerging technology. I think there will be a lot of obstacles, and the final product will, I don't think will be anything that we imagined. I think it will be much different.
Yes.
Coming from someone who's
love
working
this
on a Saudi metaverse himself.
I love this discussion. Actually, we have received a question from our attendees. They asking what are the main policy recommendations for the governments in order to promote the video games industry in the OIC countries. So what do you think, guys, about this?
I don't know if the government is really a playing hand in this. I think as much as this is a free market and we get to market our games independently, I think it's all fine. Because once things are regulated on a governmental level, it becomes really very controlled. For example, you see in China, they tried to do this, and now all the really good Chinese games are not played in China, actually. They're played all over the world, but not in China. So I think, yeah, as much as it's free market, we're good to go.
Perfect. I think Mr. Mahrouz would like to add something.
Yeah, actually, the gaming industry related to the mobile industry, what I would say, it's a very vast industry, and I don't think so they will be under the government, because the government, every country has its own laws and all the stuff, just like the TikTok, some country bans it and some country doesn't ban it, depends upon the country. But I guess it's a free market, obviously, the Play Store and App Store. So according to the research survey, I like 2021, what I have read, like from the Google Play Store and from the App Store, over 55 billion games were downloaded. So I don't think so. Like there will be a till it's a free. Then we don't have any restriction and all the stuff. And if we will move it to the country level, then every country has its own policies and all the stuff. So that will be a very limited scope.
Yes, Mr. Ralph.
So let's go back to, it depends on the country and the governing country. Let's take Saudi, for example, and how they're actually pushing for video games, gaming and esports in general. That's one. On the other hand, if you have it on App Store or on Play Store, you are government. Your government is actually either Apple or Google. So it's the same thing. You are regulated by them. You will not be able to put the game unless they approve it. So let's just say that the government, it's a very wide question. If they can just tell us exactly which government they're thinking of, then it's something else. Because again, here in the Khalij, in the GCC countries, especially the UAE and Saudi, they're actually welcoming all gaming and gaming developers. They're even giving golden visas here in the UAE for people that write code. So that's something very helpful from one end. And you have China or India, for example, both are blocking certain kind of games or certain kind of stuff just because they are controlling it, or they have their own agenda, which we will never know until 30 years have passed. So
for example, you're right. So for example, Steam, we all know Steam. It's a very popular
platform.
game platform. Yeah. For Steam to operate in China, they have to do a bunch of stuff for it to be approved by the Chinese government. That's what I mean. So I know that every platform, you are obviously governed by every platform. For example, we develop for iOS and Android. It's a completely different game that comes for iOS than Play Store. But I think this is something that that is very technical. What I'm talking about here, and what we're all talking about here, is the involvement of the government to regulate gaming platforms. Actually, I think that's the talking point here. But again, Saudi Arabia is pushing for games. That's a good thing. That's one positive thing from the government active playing in the field. Another bad side is like Chinese or Indian government. So I think it's a double-edged sword. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Mahrouz, you have raised your hand.
Yes, actually, I just want to add a few more things. Like, I am working in the UAE, so we are here in the UAE, and we are developing majorly MyWoosh, like it's a cycling app. So we are pushing the Arabs and all the stuff to do cycling, to be physical and to be physical active. So it depends, like obviously the government and all the stuff, like what product they want as their own product. And in that, like in MyWoosh, we have multiple countries as well. For Australia, Alula, and all the stuff. And here in the UAE, we have majority of the maps just like the UAE, so you can feel we are in the UAE. So it depends upon like the requirement as well.
Sure. Mr. Hamza, would like to have it?
Some countries have a limitation of USA or filtering in the countries, like to Iran. We have our own markets. Cafe Bazaar and Myket like to Google Play, and Sibap and Sipche like to App Store. Because for limitation, we can't work with Google Play or App Store and have a global bank account. And our government regulate this section, and we have our own market, but without limitation in the world. Google Play, App Store, and Steam is good for all developers and gamers because they can very good regulation for games and gamers.
Thank you so much. So returning back to our questions, how to sensibilize people regarding the role of gaming in shaping communities? Who would like to answer first? Okay.
What does sensibilize mean?
I think the majority of people thinking that games are designed for entertainment only. The culture of the role of gaming in education, for example, it's not with all the people. So how can we promote this culture for the parents, for example?
I think the parents are yes, there's the problem of awareness that games can be used in other fields. We won't. I think the solution to this is not calling them games in the first place. This is
They
why
are games.
no, maybe they are gamified, not games. For example, I wouldn't call an application like Lingo Kids, for example, a game. Would you, Ralph?
Yeah, to be honest. Look, I'm
Yeah.
40 years old. When I was back in school, it was the first, you remember the Pentium 1 kind of Windows PC that they used to have. And there was the
Yeah.
first game that taught us how to move a turtle on DOS to be able to draw a line behind it and draw a square. So you just like walk 2 steps, then take your right 90 degrees, and then go walk 2 steps. And then, this was just teaching us logic and everything. And that's why our generation has the, let's say, the enlightenment that these games, which are actually games, are good, if you know what I mean. But yeah, for my mom, explained to her, a game means a waste of time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you don't want to call it. I understand, but that's
Maybe
my mom, waste of time.
Maybe I come from a hardcore background. I used to play a lot of RTS in my days, Red Alert, and Generals.
Yeah.
I used to play League of Legends in
I
my
still
college
do.
years. Yeah,
I
no,
still
I
do
quit.
2 hours. No, I
Alhamdulillah.
still. Why? Yeah, I know you're Egyptian. I understand why you don't want to play some Riot games.
I'm addicted to it.
I'm not. I just wake up in the morning at 6 a.m., play 2 hours, and then at 8, when my family is awake, I take care of my family and go to my work at 9.
Yeah,
As
I
simple as
still
that.
play games. I still play games on a regular basis. I just I think to push for the awareness of educational games or gamified games. For example, we need to call them something else than gaming. For example, there was this project that we worked on. It was like an application that represents each and everyone as a superhero, and you get to upgrade your superhero by the work that you do for your company. It was a productivity kind of project for a big company. And it wasn't a gaming company or anything. It's just a company in the medicine field. So they didn't want to call it a game. So we came up with the name, an interactive application. So here's
learning app.
the learning app, gamified, not even gamified app. They didn't want to call it that. So I think this is the problem we're tackling here. It's just a naming problem. That's all.
Yes, I agree with this.
Yeah, but again, if we don't start by us, then the next generation will struggle to be able to explain to each other like, hey, look, I'm not playing here, I'm actually learning. So that's why if we do that small little sacrifice of calling it actually a game, which is a good game,
Yeah.
Again, I'm not gonna name names, for example, but yes, Call of Duty can lead to shit ton of problems. Sorry for the word tons of problems in the US because of that. But actually, it can teach you speed, it can teach you thinking, reasoning, and a lot.
That's
So
true. That's right.
thank you,
That's right.
thank you, Activision.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, but I think the newer generation has a lot of other problems than playing games. For example, TikTok.
Yes.
I know I'm not making TikTok, mom. I'm influencing people.
100% agree. 100% agree. This is the main issue.
I don't want to be, I do not agree at all. I want to keep this on the record. TikTok is one of my main customers.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is a bigger
Actually,
problem than the game
no,
problem.
actually, it depends upon the usage, and it depends upon the usage of the customer as well. Because TikTok is just like the more productive videos for around 30 seconds and 1 minute that user can see and learn from that video. But now the user has changed his module. Like, no, TikTok is something else. So it depends upon the usage as well.
Yeah,
Exactly.
of course.
For me, TikTok is creativity. It's pure,
Yes,
simple creativity,
exactly.
like what X used to be when it was Twitter. When someone is good on
Yeah.
Twitter, he is freaking creative to a point you have to follow and just listen to his jokes or read his jokes or read his tweets or
Yeah.
actually get to know the news. So this is how it used to be. Now what you use
Yeah.
it for
And
later, that's upon the usage.
Yeah, exactly.
and even if we just go through its logic, then it just shows you whatever you have searched, and whatever you like, it just shows you that videos and similar videos, so that you can entertain yourself and you can learn a lot of things. But again, it depends upon the usage, and it might depend on like how they are using the technology.
Yes. Mr. Hamza would like to add something, I think.
Yes, for this subject, we need to do many actions for to show people gaming is very serious. For example, we need TV programs for
Done.
show the game potential, medias uh, like to the social media or news and others. Esport is very important and officially medal in esport. In Asian Games and Olympics, esport is officially medals and have official medals, and this is very important for promote gaming in the countries. And courses, official courses in university, and many the actions we need to do this, and affect these actions will be the good for sensitive games in people.
Yes, right. Perfect. So now we'll go to Mr. Mahrou's presentation. I think he will show us some statistics and some numbers. So just 1 second, I will share it now, and the mic is yours, Mr. Mahrouz. You can explain to us.
Thank you, thank you. The thing is how gaming is shaping our society. For example, can you please play this? Yes. For example, if we just see over from 2001 till 2021, the film industry and the gaming industry revenue wise, and if we just uh, yes, the revenue wise was almost the same. But if we just go towards the 2021, the revenue, it will become 180,000 of millions in dollars than the revenue of the film and the movie. So it means like the gaming industry has grown a lot within past 20 years. And if we just go through to our next slide, the growth in the mobile industry, then you can see the mobile gamer has become a lot in the gaming, like 59%, because in 2012 it was 18%. and now the user has become 59%. And the PC and console game, obviously, they have a very minor change. Like it was 37 and 45, now it becomes 19 and 22%. And if we just talk about the user in the mobile game that I just mentioned, like 2021, it was from the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. The user downloaded over 55 billion games from the App Store. And if we just go through the quickly to the revenue wise, the mobile gaming has a lot of revenue other than the PC and console game, as the user is in majority of the user is in PC and console in the mobile games. And if we talk about the AI in the game, like it is critically very important in the mobile gaming, because if we want to make our games like more dynamic, responsive, and very best, because of the NPC's character that will gonna be that will gonna train themselves with the AI. If we are, for example, I'm working in the Myosh, and we have an algorithm. For example, if a user is cheating, so from the data, our AI team what used to do, like from the data they used to just elaborate law. No, this person is cheating due to the statistics of the data, and this AI has a very huge impact in in the gaming industry. For example, the types of the AI is just like the rule-based AI, learning, and the behavior finding all the stuff. And because of the NPCs, we have to care about the NPCs as well, because we just want in our games users should be just feel like the NPCs are very important in our game, and the user just be should think like this is the just like the normal human beings. So the AI is very much important in the game. And lastly, I have just created in the next slide, I have just created a QR code. If the user can scan that QR code, and there will be a bunch of questions as well that the user will gonna answer, that will be very helpful for us for their feedback as well.
Perfect. That's really very
Thank you.
informative. Thank you, Mr. Mahrouz. Okay, regarding the AI, as you have mentioned, so what do you think, Mr. Ralph, the role of the AI in the ongoing development of the gaming industry?
Again, the first thing we used to use as AI was actually the NPCs. NPCs is a simple non-playable character inside the game where you actually you talk to this character, and whatever you answer, he will do or answer you back. So that used to be the very limited way of having. It's not AI, it's just, coding. So you take it also as a big thing. It's simple coding where actually when you ask ChatGPT, can you help me write this one out? He's going to go and Google how to write this one out for you. We're using it in a very, very simple explanation. It's not that simple, but the role of the AI, yes, it's going to grow tremendously. And this is what we feel. And it will have a huge impact on all our futures.
So, Mr. Kamal, do you agree on this? Or would like to add something?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you used to play strategy games when you're older, even now, you have like easy, medium, hard. What does that mean? It means the level of the AI that thinks and play against you. All the sports, all the football games, for example, FIFA and other football games, when you play against an AI, it actually thinks real time against you and tries to score goals. AI is very used in the gaming industry. Another example, another technical example is multiplayer games. There are always the problem of latency. For example, if you have weak connection, you might register a movement, but the server doesn't register it in time, and everything in the game just moves very quickly. So how do you improve this experience for other players with one player having latency? Well, actually, you apply AI to predict the next movement and do it for him instead of waiting for him to register it. So AI is very, very used as it is in the gaming industry. I think what will be new is seeing AI help game developers, actually, not seen in games, because it's seen in games all the time. Just people don't recognize it as AI. What I mean by helping game developers is, for example, we saw that ChatGPT, if you ask it to solve a programming problem, it will generate a code that it finds on the internet. That's very unreliable at the moment, but it could be really reliable for junior developers, for example, to assist them on their coding and programming problems. Another thing is Photoshop, for example, has introduced AI that can expand on create something new from the patterns that it sees from the current working layer or something. This is very good for artists, for example, to prototype fast. We see Midjourney and stuff like that. If you're a game designer, you don't have the skills or the art skills to produce some prototypes or visualize your idea, you can go to AI programs and try to get the closest visualization of your idea, so that when actual artists and developers work on it, they're all aligned on the same visual identity. So I think, yeah, the AI is a great tool for enhancing work and productivity, and I see it will become more and more of a must-have tool for all developers and people who work in the game industry.
Thank you for the elaboration. So, Mr. Hamza? You are muted. Please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Oh, yes. I also agree this speaks. And AI will be future of our services, and we need to AI services in the near future, and to get API for developers to use AI in the products. And this is very important for all developers to use AI in their products. And because people and new people, babies and kids, wants to know more about all things, and we don't have any information for all things. This is a simple example for that we need AI, and AI will be help us for this way.
Perfect. So I think we have received another question from our audience, asking about if you have any idea about the rank of the amount of sales of games in OIC countries. Do you have any ranking statistics or numbers about the highest amount of sales in OIC countries? Which country?
I don't have specific countries, but let me pull a statistics that I've done a while back. Just wait a moment. So it goes like this. In 2021, the total amount of revenue that generated from the gaming sector in the MENA region, the Middle East, North Africa region, was $1.78 billion. That's in 2021, and it's projected to be over $10 billion in revenue in 2025. Yeah. This projection, of course, varies through the years, but let's say it's from $5 to $10 billion, which is a huge amount of growth, while the international gaming industry is on the back foot a little bit. And the MENA region is actually the fastest growing market at the moment. This is because 16% of the populace of the MENA region is under 25 years old, 25 or 25 years old or less. I think this is a huge opportunity in the MENA region, because you can have all kinds of stuff. You can have events for game developers, you can have events for gamers, you can have events for cosplayers, you can have events for esports, you can have all sort of events. You can do a lot of the things that happened in the West or in China or in Japan here in the Middle East with our culture, with our like learning from the mistakes that they've done to improve on the experience. Yeah.
Perfect. And what about Egypt? Do you have any idea?
Actually, Egypt generates a lot of revenue. I think in 2022, Egypt generated around $800 million in games, but 95% of this is going for like international big games, not local games. So the challenge for game developers in Egypt is to try and expand on the 5% of this revenue to become more towards the local games, not just the local games in Egypt, but the local games in Africa or the local games in MENA. I think this is a challenge for everyone. Obviously, the Saudi Arabia is the highest paying when it comes to this matter, and the Saudi Arabia just generates a huge amount of revenue for game sector, and 99% of it goes to international games, not local games. So I think this is the biggest obstacle for game developers and everyone working on local games and in the local gaming industry in the MENA region.
Okay, so
But we need to specify something, excuse me. When you say international games, internationally owned, like for example, Activision is an American company, I understand.
Exactly.
But Riot, for example, they have a local office where they have a lot of people working for that. It's their living that they do that. And it's actually helping them as well. I understand. You cannot say that, oh, Apple is an American company, so America is getting everything. No, hell no. There's shit.
The director of these games are still the headquarters in America.
I understand completely. I understand completely.
That's what I mean.
Hey, I know, but I wanted to clarify that there is people with their offices, like these
of course.
big companies have their own offices here, and there's a lot of people having a living out of this.
Yeah, exactly. They have their offices here because they want to localize their games to make market here, to
make a
market.
And actually, exactly. There's a lot of people employed there and make their living and have provide for their family.
For example, if you take a look at Jordan is a very mature game industry country. You have like Mad Hook Games, Tomatum Games. You have Babel Games in Jordan and Iraq. All of these are doing a massive job, amazing job.
But these are casual games. Now
these are casual games, exactly.
The AAA game, the first one will be Saudi. There won't be anyone. They already invested in it. We all know that this is their next plan, and we all wish them luck.
From someone in the field, I think no, it won't be a Saudi game. The Saudi, they invest a lot, but they still have a lot of obstacles, mainly talents. They don't have enough talents for making
So
this.
you mean when Activision creates a game like Call of Duty, if the designer is actually someone from Uzbekistan, it's an Uzbekistan it's an
No, no,
Uzbekistan game,
the
or it's
direction,
the American game?
the director of the
So
company.
let me repeat my question again. It is a Saudi game if it's from a Saudi company, right or wrong?
No, of
Even
course
if
not.
the designers, even if the designer is something else.
No, of course not.
Why not?
As long as it's directed by a Saudi, then
As
yes.
long as it's directed by a Saudi.
Not
So you want to
Actually,
tell me that all
the
AAA
thing,
games
no,
are
No, no, no.
bro, the
directed by
thing is,
Americans?
the idea,
not the game
there will be a
not the
thing
game
like
designer.
the
Not
idea,
wait.
will be from Saudi. Obviously, the director, the idea will, what we can clarify, the idea will be for that person. But
Mhm.
apart from that, if a user is having the art design and all the stuff, that depends upon the own person. Na? Like the idea may be completely
I'm
agree.
So
The
the
idea
idea,
will be from that
who comes up with the idea is actually the
country.
owner, and his and
Yes.
he where he's
No,
from
no.
is actually the game.
No. For example, if no.
No,
You have a
actually,
board
the
of
game, I
directors.
guess,
Yes.
the game depends upon the person who they are in the team. Like the game totally defines the complete team, and the idea will be from that team as well.
So the guy,
Triple A
tell me.
companies doesn't work like any other company. There's a lot of hierarchy going in the game industry. Ultimately, who decides the direction of the game is the board of directors. You take a look at the board of directors of Activision, of Ubisoft, of all of these companies. You see that they are mainly Westerns.
Americans.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
no. Be precise.
But the thing is,
American is
again. But the thing is,
even Europeans. Even Europeans.
It depends upon the business requirement.
Sorry, Mr. Mahrouz, Mr. Mahrouz, give me some time with Kamal. Let me have some fun.
Okay.
Let me have some fun. Just give me this 2 minutes. So Kamal, explain
would
to me
like-
one thing. Sorry. Just
I would
let me
like
do
to
that.
add
Let me do that.
something, Sorry.
I have to add this. Let me finish. So he was like Western now. It's not American anymore. It's Western with Europeans. So the one that heads the AAA games creation in Saudi is Prince Faisal bin Bandar, as you know, who is
Yeah.
purely Saudi. And if you've talked to him, he's one hell of a guy. This mind is awesome.
Yes.
So if he's leading, means it's a Saudi game.
Yes.
So okay,
Who's
it's gonna
leading
be a
now?
Saudi game. He is personally.
Sorry, guys.
No, actually, no.
I have to wrap up this conversation.
Yeah, no problem. I'll have it offline with Mr. Kamal.
Yeah, exactly.
Just before wrapping up this conversation, please, each one of you, if you can list one main point of improvement do you see in each country do you working from? So we'll start with Mr. Mahrouz. Please list one main point of improvement, please.
I guess the point of improvement must be the mindset. For example, like I have worked in Pakistan and in the UAE, so I have feel a very huge mind difference as well. Because in Pakistan, it's just like we have to earn money, we have to make the game, which has a lot of ads.
Yes.
And when I came here in the UAE, the market, the business requirement, and all the stuff are very, like they are very focused on the users, on the user retention, and all the stuff. So I guess the mindset and the business requirement are the very important things
Thank
to
you.
work on.
Mr. Hamza, please add yours.
Yes, before that, I want to say Prince Faisal is now president of International eSport Federation, and this is very good for our region. For last words, in Iran, we have very good developers and games, but for limitation of America, we must publish these games with other names and with other country names. And this is very good potential for partnership with other studios and companies in Iran.
Perfect. So, so far we have the mindset and the limitation. Mr. Ralph, please add yours.
So I have to speak about UAE. AD Gaming are doing a very good job. Abu Dhabi Gaming, they brought us Blast Premiere, the finals here. The limitation, it's still one event instead of becoming a festival where you should actually bring in people from abroad to be able to focus on this. So the good thing is that they brought Blast, for example. The bad thing, it's still an event instead of being a full festival. But Comic-Con has always been from here. Everything started for the region, from the UAE mainly. We all know that in a way because of the main money. Now that Saudi is taking all the lights, congrats for Saudi as well.
Yes, thank you. And finally, Mr. Kamal.
I think that one point of improvement is that first, the context is Egypt has a huge amount of talents in the gaming industry, but there is little awareness when it comes to investment and publishing in the industry here in Egypt. So the improvement is to have events that educate investors and publishers that of the existing game industry in Egypt, and the amount of talent that rises every year here from Egypt, from ITI, from independent internships in Egyptian game studios, and overall, yeah, the awareness for investors and publishers is the one improvement that I would stick with.
Okay, thank you all. So I think now we have reached the end of our fruitful and informative webinar with you, dears. So I would like thank you all, our panelists, for participating today. The session was really amazing and very informative. Thank you for your attendance, and thank you for the audience and for your questions. And finally, please follow our website and social media platforms to know all about our upcoming events and sessions and new themes. So thank you. It was a pleasure to have you all here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
day.
Bye bye.